So, welcome to Online Events series of interviews with Octia organisers, and today we're talking to Jane Evans, who has been in Octia from the start, and I guess you're excited about the conference this year, Jane?
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling really excited about this year's conference. I feel that last year's conference was a great success, and it's been a real pleasure to work on planning for the conference for 2010. And here we are, we're only 3 weeks away now from the conference. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to being there, but also being a part of it and having helped to organise it as well. It's a great event.
I guess you're not just organising, Jane, but you're also presenting at the conference. I'm really interested to hear a little bit about what you'll be delivering.
It's a workshop on Saturday of the conference, and the subject is online assessment. So for those practitioners who are working as online counsellors, and that could be individually as an individual practitioner or working as part of an organisation, the application process that a client would apply online to a service. I guess in some cases it would be via an online application form that an organisation or practitioner uses, or they might just send in a first email inquiry. I'm hoping that the workshop will support practitioners in how to assess whether the online counselling is actually a suitable medium for clients to be supported by, and also to explore the kind of issues that they would bring. And I guess because we're working with the unspeakable, then I feel I would need to add that perhaps in that application process or assessment process, that there may be issues presented in a way that wouldn't be represented in face-to-face work. Someone could be very explicit in that first email or in their application form as to what their personal issues are and what kind of support they want. I guess the advantage of face-to-face assessment for counselling is that you have got the client there. You can see their body language, you're hearing what they're saying, and the ability to ask questions in the here and now to make that assessment decision, whereas working online, unless you're working synchronously, you will just have what the client has written. And they may have been very explicit in that, or they may have been a little bit sort of tentative. So hopefully the workshop will be supportive to practitioners in considering what kinds of issues could be presented and whether they would feel that that online counselling is a suitable medium to support those kinds of issues. And looking at the assessment process is perhaps not just a one-off exchange, that actually there might be an extended assessment period, particularly if issues are presented, that there is a little bit of doubt as to whether it could be the suitable medium for clients. Just thinking about things like suicidal ideation, eating disorders, clients present with enduring mental health difficulties or very serious mental health difficulties, and whether online counselling alone could support a client with those issues, and perhaps exploring what other support networks the client has, what kinds of mental health support they might have in addition to the online counselling. And I think that the assessment decision could be influenced by whether the practitioner is working on their own or whether they're part of an organisation, because an organisation might have more resources to be able to support that client. Not necessarily so, but it could be that there might be an agreement to go ahead and work with a client if they were actually being supported by mental health workers within, say, an organisation like a university context or other contexts.
Yeah, because I guess assessment is a really important part of any counselling relationship, and I suppose if coming into online counselling for the first time, or it's maybe a new experience for some counsellors, it's thinking, well, how's that done, and what are the issues that are going to come up with, and maybe added extra bit, if you're assessing for online counselling, is that medium appropriate? Maybe a question that isn't being asked about face-to-face counselling.
No, and I guess it's about making it a positive process for a client as well, because if perhaps they haven't given enough information in that first application form or email to the counsellor, how does the counsellor sensitively explore with the client any further sort of questions that might need to be asked, or information that they might need for the client? Because often clients could feel quite defensive if something comes back that needs clarification. So I think it's important in the way that it's approached with clients, so if more is needed, to be able to establish if it's a suitable way of supporting the client.
At the moment, that workshop is available to delegates who come to Manchester. So if anyone is kind of swithering about will they come to the venue, then if they want to come and see your presentation, that would be really a definite reason to come to Manchester and experience that.
Well, I hope so, yes. I hope that delegates or potential delegates would see it that way. I mean, there's so many interesting themes that are part of the conference and presentations and other workshops. So there's going to be something there for everyone. And I guess some aspects are core to the online counselling process, which I see that assessment is, but also there are so many different specialisms that are being represented within the conference. So I'm certain there'll be lots there of interest to everyone who comes along.
Yeah, and I think you're also interested in kind of inspiring people into research about online counselling. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, we didn't have that as part of the conference last year, but I remember when we sat and talked about the conference on the day that it had finished, and we were looking at, well, we were already thinking ahead really to what delegates might find really interesting and would draw people into the conference for this year. And research was one of the subjects that we talked about at that time. And so we have included it in the conference this year. And I feel for anyone who's conducting research into online counselling, then obviously that will be an ideal opportunity to come along, to listen to what other people are doing in respect of research, to get ideas, to sort of further endorse what their ideas are. So I see that as a really positive addition to the conference this year, that we're able to offer that. And obviously we've got Stephen Goss, who's going to be involved in that, and Terry Hanley as well. So I hope that, I'm aware of people in the online counselling profession who are working on NAs at the moment, and that's part of what is drawing them to the conference. So hopefully for other people who come along who are thinking of furthering their counselling training, that it might inspire them to think, yes, that's actually an area that I'd like to focus on too, and to have the opportunity to perhaps sound that out at the conference.
Yes, and so coming to Manchester is a perfect opportunity to meet Terry and to meet Stephen and really pick their brains. So that's going to be the 19th and the 20th of March, only 3 weeks away or so, at the Chancellor's Hotel in Manchester. People should go to octia.org.uk to find out more. And Jane, thank you for taking the time this afternoon to speak more about the conference. And I guess we're really looking forward to being together in a few weeks in Manchester.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jane.